Moving that mouth on it round and round. Baby, down. Rub me down. Baby, you know what you're here for. I am here for pleasure. And yes, my body is sore. Around town, you can give me what I want. And yes, I'm down. You can make a frown. Turn upside down. Touch me slow. Touch me low. Make me go low. Make me go low. You're doing your job. Don't feel right. Don't wanna stop. Don't want you to stop, baby. Lay me down. Sparking that love when you rub me down. Rub me down. Rubbing it, rubbing it, rubbing it down. Lay me down. Sparking that love when you lay me down. Rub me down. Moving them up on it round and round. Lay me down. Rub me down. Up and down. Listen to your mom. Like you can sound. Time to take it to another level. Hands to a soft like a rose petal. See, she'll never settle. Fun with the distance satisfaction. She like the reaction. Full of passion, lots of action. Been a dick like a fiddle. Approaching it like a puzzle. Feeling it like a riddle. Feeling good in the middle. Baby down. Smoking out love when you rub me down. Rub me down. Rubbing it, rubbing it, rubbing it down. Lay me down. Rub me down. Moving them up on it round and round. Lay me down. Rub me down. I know you want it around. I know you want it around. I know you want it around. I know you want come on, Stargate, baby. Give me a happy ending, down. Stargate, I love when you rub me down. Rub me down. Rubbing it, rubbing it, rubbing it down. Lay me down. Stargate, I love when you lay me down. Rub me down. Moving them up on it round and round. Lay me down. Rub me down. Baby, you know what you're here for. I am here for pleasure. And yes, my body is sore. When you're around town, you can give me what I want. And yes, I'm down. You can make a frown. Turn upside down. Touch me slow. Touch me low. Make me go low. Make me go low. You're doing your job. Don't feel right. Don't wanna stop. Don't want you to stop, baby. down. Smoking the love when you rub me down, rub me down. Rubbing it down, lay me down. Smoking the love when you lay me down, rub me down. Moving them up on it round and round, lay me down. Rub me down. Working your knees up and down. Listen to you more, like you the sound. Time to take it to another level. Hands to a soft like a rose petal. See, it should never settle. For nothing less than satisfaction. She like the reaction. Full of passion, lots of action. Feeling it like a fiddle. Approaching it like a puzzle. Feeling it like a riddle. Feeling good in the middle. Hold it down. Smoking a love when you rub me down. Rub me down. Rubbing it down. Lay me down. Smoking a love when you lay me down. Rub me down. Moving them up on it round and round. Lay me down. Rub me down. Wow. Welcome, everybody. This is D. Durrell with the motherfucking conscious clientele. Happy to be here once again today. Before I get started, I got a lot of shit to talk about. There's a lot of bullshit going on in this sector, and I got to call this shit out. So what's up, the sector wars? What's up, brother? What's up, my girl, Sway Celeste from another sector? What's up, Tiffany Griff? How you doing, baby? And hey, Nader Great, what's up? I see the Oracle up in here. What's up, social justice warrior stand up? What's up? What's going on? So we about to get this shit started. I'm just gonna go right into this shit. You know, it's the reason why they call me the Godfather. It's the reason why they call me the motherfucking Godfather. Because I gotta keep calling out dumbass shit that these Negroes do. By curious, this slanted-eyed Negro, 75% as Negro is at it again. Now, I'm going to be honest, guys. I stopped talking about his little bitch ass. I kind of was like, look, man, look, okay? He doing his little thing, you know. He trying to operate on the other sector with mediocre viewership. Barely, he got to basically bribe people just to get over 500 subs. His shit don't even get over half a grand. Basically half a grand worth of viewership. I'm sitting there like, I'm trying to figure out what's the big deal. This 75% Negro have the audacity to talk about the issues of a strong black woman. Let me repeat that for all the black women. You got a 75% Negro who married to a motherfucking Asian, a motherfucking Ming Ling, want to sit here and read research. And guess who did the research? 3 fucking Asian women. Now, how the fuck you, as a 75% Negro who got a 50% Negro white mother, then you go about marrying 100% Asian, try to talk about black women? Why do you care, Negro?
You see, this is the bullshit that I'm talking about in the sector. This is the bullshit that I talk about in YouTube, period. You got Negroes, niggas doing stupid shit like this. This Negro is sitting here damn near 40 years old talking about how he almost lost his virginity. This shit is worse than the fucking manosphere. This nigga damn near 40 years old talking about how he almost lost his virginity. And you got the nerve to talk about smoke? You got the nerve to talk about the smoke god? JLM, you got the nerve to talk about the motherfucking smoke god that brought you on his panel and made you what you is, and a nigga trusted you and invited you in and made your ass relevant, and then you turn around and steal his bullshit ass co-host and panel? Nigga, really? This is what I gotta go up against? This nigga sitting here talking about, I read research. The research stated it analyzed and assessed anxiety, depression, and loneliness. That in itself don't make no sense, because if you were a true professional like me, understanding what anxiety and what depression is, don't you know that loneliness is connected to anxiety, and loneliness is also a feature of depression? That makes no sense. They are not inseparable. Loneliness is connected to both. You got three Minglings sitting here trying to assess and worry about what black women are doing. You got three Asian women, the women that he really liked, but you got the audacity to worry about strong black women? Negro, you could not handle a strong black woman. That's why you were the weak, skinny, slanted-eyed Asian. Negro, please. You got the audacity to talk about black people and mock how black people speak and making jokes. And then you got that fucking bullshit ass, weak, airhead, goofy ass masseuse of yours sitting there laughing while you mocking her own fucking culture. And I've never heard in my life so many people make jokes. So many people make jokes that you the only one laughing. How many fucking jokes can you make that can actually deliver on other people laughing and giggling? I mean, I've never seen a situation of this silly, goofy ass, sophomoric ass shit between the both of you. And I keep hearing people talking about, and you got Flacco, man, binary doing it. Just like my boy Shaquem said, what's the fucking hype about? What is he doing? The nigga getting 200 to 300 viewers. He can barely crack 400 to 500. What are y'all talking about? Like what are y'all saying? What is the hype about? What's the big deal? The Negro is not funny. He needs co-hosts, multiple co-hosts I may add. You got with whatever his name is, Identity Simping and Stargate the masseuse. And to be honest with you guys, I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do this, because I've been fucking chopping at the bits at this opportunity. Because I tried to lay low for the last 2 weeks, guys. My business is up. My business has been up. Things been going crazy. I've got a lot going on with the practice and shit. And I'm sitting here wondering, like, okay, how I'm gonna fit in? You know, I gotta do this. I gotta fit in and put my videos in. And I've sat here and watched this goofy ass Negro live after live talk about dumb ass shit. And they got people that I know that actually like watching him. And I'm like, what? For what? He could not carry a show by himself. Then you got these Negroes talking about mental health, making light of Smoke God being diagnosed with PTSD. And this dumbass broad had the audacity to say he blaming PTSD on his bad behavior. When in all actuality, PTSD is what influences his behavior, you dumbass. You don't even know what PTSD is. and you commenting on it. And then you got binary dumbass up there. Oh, girl, you shit, girl, you assessing and examining. I'm like, what the fuck is this? These goofball ass. I mean, I'm like, this is what the sector is evolving into. This is what the sector is evolving into. Two goofy ass Negroes, one 75%, the other one Creole. And let me not even get on that. Just talking about all kind of dumb shit. This dude just read some research that basically mock your fucking culture, and you sit in your dumb, illiterate, blank ass there laughing and giggling like the shit funny about the stereotypes of being a strong black woman, and you sitting there taking light of that shit, and you're basically being ridiculed by other cultures that pretty much tell you are socially and mentally inept. And you sitting there laughing like it's fucking funny? You sitting there listening to this fool who want to be Asian so bad use Asian experts to criticize black people? Now, let me ask you all a question so everybody listening. You know, I'm getting my shit warmed up. When the last time you seen black people do research on Asian women? When the last time you heard black people doing shit on loud mouth ass Asian women? Skinny, bony ass Asian women. Big teeth ass Asian women. Snappy ass Asian women. When the last time you heard somebody unemotional looking ass Asian women? Rude ass Asian women. Gossipy ass Asian women? When the last time you seen some black folks, 3 black women, decide to do research on Asian women? Why Asian women don't want to marry Asian men? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the phenomenon of Asian women wanting to marry white men over Asian men. Why is Asian women probably second on the list as far as most likely to date outside their race than any other group of women? First the Hispanics, then Asians. Why is it that Asian women don't find their men attractive to marry? Since you want to talk about black women, because black women are the least likely, the second to the last, least likely to marry interracially than any other group of people, and last is white men. So since you want to talk about research, let's talk about some research for your ass. Why are Asian women not having a lot of children? Why are Asian women infertile? Let's talk about the culture of China, that they dumbasses was killing all of their female babies, and now they have a population that's majority men over women, thus hindering their ability to reproduce long term because they worship a young male so much to the detriment of their own girls. Since we want to talk about some motherfucking statistics, I'm sitting here listening to this shit. And you all know, man, listen, when it comes to research, you all know D. Durrell is on point. But when this brother went out here talking about the different concepts that were measured, he never talked about the reliability. He didn't talk about how the validity of the research. He didn't talk about the standard error that was presented. And you're supposed to be in a PhD program, and this is how elementary that you basically articulate the findings of a research study? Come on, man. You're supposed to be better than this. You're supposed to be a PhD candidate. You mean to tell me you as a PhD candidate look up psychological research, behavioral research, and that's the best that you can do? Let me go ahead and time Maggie out. Let me go ahead and give you the work a little bit. You mean to tell me we got this Negro? It took them 20 goddamn minutes to even get to the topic. 20 goddamn minutes to even get to the fact of them trying to criticize black women. I be damn as a black man, I'm gonna let a 75% Negro that's married to a 100% Asian try to criticize black women. Why do you care? This is the same thing I told SYSBM and all of them goofy ass Negroes in the manosphere. If you want to get your passport, go to the passport, get your passport and go get those dirty feet women from the Philippines and from South Asia. If you want dirty feet women from Vietnam, that's your fault. I don't care less. But once you date out of your race, you lose credibility to talk about the women of your race. And for binary, you can only talk about them 25% of the time, since you want to claim Asian so bad. I'm sitting there, I mean, I don't get it. What is this shit with everybody always want to worry about what black people are doing? You criticize the black man. You got these fools in there like Ron Jeremy bringing his bitch ass up in there, want to bring up about everybody won't Star to be with somebody, and he want to comment on what. Let me tell y'all something. Why would I lower my standards to mess with a dried up ass middle-aged woman like Stargate? What does a Negro like me look like? That, let's say if I was single, what would I look like wanting to date down? What do I look like lowering my standards? What do I look like a man of my stature being a lick for somebody else like Stargate? What do I look like knowing a woman like Stargate who hands and touch so many dicks for a happy ending? You think I'm gonna let her put her nasty ass greasy hands on me after you done worked all day giving happy endings to God knows who? Allegedly. You see, I tried to sit, man. I'm sitting here like, man, I've heard enough. I sat there and heard them say so much goofy shit. Then you got the audacity to talk about the mental health of smoke. That shit is not nothing to laugh at. That shit is not funny. I know that I say what I say, but when it comes to mental health, I get real fucking serious. And that brother has a serious condition in which he has his treatment. That shit is not nothing to laugh about. But you motherfuckers don't even know what PTSD is. You don't know the features of, you don't know the treatment. But you want to sit there and talk about what the behavior is linked to and what the behavior is not linked to. When motherfuckers, you don't know anything about this. This is out of your lane. Leave that to the experts like myself. You talking about the brother. The bottom line, you wasn't saying that shit when he was texting you all hours of the night when you was disrespecting Miss Smoke God. When you was disrespecting that woman talking to his wife, then you want to bring her name up, but they didn't stop your fucking naive ass from continuing to text. And here I go sitting here like, okay. In all actuality, I put the onus on Smoke for even opening that door with a goofy ass bimbo for the first place. I'm gonna say this, Smoke. If you're gonna choose something smooth, choose a little wisely than that, and also choose better. But hey, you know what it is. You know, you know, as a man, you know, men do what we do, and she allowed it. She basically entertained the shit, and she's sitting there lying, acting like she didn't watch that porn, that porn that he created. She a motherfucking liar. She probably was sitting there jacking off and shit off of that shit. I really do think she was watching it. She's lying. Stargate was watching that shit. She's sitting there saying, I didn't, lying to everybody, talking about I didn't know what he sent me. How the fuck you don't know somebody sending you something? The guy got access to contact you, to text you, and send you emails. How could you not know what he was doing? Let's just be honest. We keep talking about the emails, the text messages, and shit. She saw that shit. And those same hands that she was jerking off other men to, she used them that index finger and and a middle finger to take care of something else. Hey, look, I ain't hating self-pleasure. Hey, if that's all you can get, hey, that's all you can get. Who am I to who am I to talk against that? I mean, I'm sitting here listening to this shit. I'm gonna feel like, okay, I'm basically, in the lab doing some music. I'm looking at content. I'm trying to download stuff on my Life Solutions. And here I go looking, browsing around. I see this Negro talking about strong black women. I'm like, how the fuck? You're not even married to a black woman. How do you have the audacity to talk about somebody you overlooked? If anything, we should do research on how 75% Negroes ain't strong enough to handle a good black woman. That should be the new research done by black women, by the way. How the fuck? This is just like the Moningham report. The Moningham report was basically was created by a Jewish man and others that wanted to dissect the black community. And in the Moningham report, it concluded the moral decline of the family of the black woman. But it was looked through the lens of people who were racist and people who did not think black people were as humane as them. And let's be honest, Asian people are racist as fuck. Let's get that out. I mean, I understand we got this Asian Lives Matter bullshit. I don't know anybody that ever heard an Asian person complain about anything in regards to racism and complain about anything in regards to maltreatment. And then we want to tie it to, related to the fact of during COVID-19, there was a rise in how Asian people were treated. So let's use some common sense here. You mean to tell me that there was an increase in social racism towards a small segment of the population that happens to be Asian during a period of time when America suffered the first pandemic in over 100 years that basically influenced the country to be the least functional and the least sociable in over 100 plus years? But in that time, in the decreasing of socialization, that they saw a heightened experience in racism. Racism is social. So how the fuck did that happen? That makes no sense. How the hell in the decreasing of social interaction between multiple groups, in that decrease, one group saw an increase in racism? That don't even make sense. Yes, brother, you're right. Shout out to Dr. Bombay. He says, I've said this repeatedly. You have to be an example of something before you can speak on it. If you're not married to or in a relationship with a black woman, what experience could you possibly have? And exactly. That Negro ain't seen black pussy since he came out of his mother who 50% black. That Negro probably never dated a black woman in his life. Matter of fact, the black chick that the chick he talked about the day that in which he suffered premature ED because he couldn't get up and so forth and couldn't do the job, that was probably an Asian girl. That was not a black girl that he was sneaking in the house to have sex with. And see, that's some misconceptions about Asian people. I remember a time Asian people were stereotyped for being highly intelligent. That's definitely not true. Asian people were stereotyped for being highly organized. Have you seen an Asian store lately? The dirty, smelly ass, unorganized, fucking stale ass food that they sell? Are you kidding me? Let's talk about the stereotypes. They usually had positive stereotypes that was deeming them in ways that actually were embellished or that was heightened above what they really are in real life. Because the Asian people, I see ratchet ass Asians these days. I see thugged out ass Asians. I see illiterate ass Asians. I see dumb ass Asians. I see dumb ass 75%, 25% Asians. I see them of all walks of life having all different types of behaviors. But you want to talk about black women. You want to talk about what the strong black women. And then I noticed you disrespected Oracle by trying to mock how Oracle speak. You disrespect other black people, and every time you try to, I guess, quote unquote, speak somewhat blackish, you give this fucking retarded ass tone of voice that I find highly fucking offensive. Now, what about if I said some shit like chang pang chang chang chong 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 or some shit like that? Oh, then you get pissed off and want to put a sign on my name saying some bullshit about Asian Lives Matter and shit like that. But you sit there and negatively, supposedly offending your own people against other people who you only represent 25% of that don't even want your black ass. Make that make sense. This Negro sit here, want to be Asian so bad. This nigga want to be Asian so bad. This nigga go read. What's the chances, guys? Let me say something. As a person that's an avid reader of research, you know how rare it is to find 3 Asian women that are doing behavioral research on black women alone. Better yet, do you understand the rarity of seeing 3 Asian women doing research, period? Because Asian people are not in the behavioral sciences like that. They're mostly in STEM. But the fact of the matter that this 75% Negro went out of his way to go find Asian research on black people. I be motherfucker. I got some good ass wine I'm drinking. I gotta drink to this shit. This Negro went out of his way. Let me repeat. This Negro went out of his way to go find research done, created, and formulated by Asian individuals, specifically Asian women, on black women. This Negro is a whole fucking clown. I'm like, nigga, when are you gonna say a fucking joke that I can laugh at? See, right now I'm saying shit and I see smiley faces and people crying, laughing and shit, and I'm not even trying to be funny, but I'm giving that motherfucking heat. This Negro purposely try to say jokes, and you don't see anybody laughing or giving symbols of laughing. Except for Al broke ass. You know, the one that's running away from me to debate. And then you got identity simping ass, who chose not to even come up. I guess he may be up right now. But see, this is the bullshit I'm talking about. Y'all letting this 75% Negro run rampant, and his content is trash. He is trash. This Negro cannot carry a show on his own like D. Durrell. He cannot carry. He needs Stargate, and Stargate airhead ass don't have one intelligent thing to say. Not one intelligent word come out of her fucking mouth. I'm sorry. I tried to be cordial with her. I tried to be civil with her. I still could, but the bottom line, the bitch dumb as fuck. Let's stop. She's dumb. She fucking naive for 45, 46 years old. She make no motherfucking sense. She got caught up in that bullshit with Stargate, fucking around with a married man that she was playing around with, and she don't want to admit that she probably really wanted smoke. Since she want to talk about his 7 inches, that bitch was probably fiending over that 7 inches, because right now I don't think she getting no inches. I'm just being honest with you. How long are you, and how long is this Negro gonna talk about TS? How long are we gonna fucking hear about this mysterious ass bitch that nobody ever seen, nobody know, and giving these vague ass statements that lead to nothing? You not fooling nobody with this. Nobody really gives a shit. The shit doesn't, like, where is it going? You've been talking about TS for goddamn what, 2 months now? Where has it led? You've been talking about TS. What the fuck is TS doing? What is the purpose of TS? The mystery of what? Nobody really gives a shit. You did shit on TS and you got like 100 views. And you got, man, I'm trying to figure out, Flacco, if you listen, what is up with this nigga that you love so much? This Negro can't even carry a show on his own. This Negro sitting up here talking all this shit about black women. First, you try to attack black men like myself. Now you're trying to attack black women. With a black woman on the goddamn platform, giggling and hissing and shit. Why are you doing it? The bottom line, guys, in our essence, in conclusion, binary hates itself. Binary is a self-hatred black man that don't like black people and he don't like his black skin. And if he had his way, this Negro would bleach his skin and slant his eyes even more and straighten his hair to make himself look like another person, another group of people. Facts. Because if he loved black people so much, he would have chose a black woman. He would have had full-blooded black children. Instead, he had some other shit. Now, I'm not putting children into anything, but I'm just saying the facts. If you want to be, but you want to be in a black sector, you want to come around black people, you want to befriend all. Why don't you go to the Asian sector? Go mess with Lu Hung Chin. She may love you. Let her big teeth ass smile in your face and feed you rice. And be happy with it. But don't come over here around black women, befriend a black woman to get popular off of Stargate, and then you fucked over smoke. That's some grimy ass shit. And then the fact of the matter is, it's somewhat conflictual for us how much he even loved Asian women. Because how the fuck you sleep with your best friend wife? Don't you know that's grounds to get your ass killed? How the fuck you slimy, grimy ass 70% Negro sleep with your best friend wife? Who the fuck do that? Nigga, you broke the bro code totally. You don't fuck with your friends women, past or present. This Negro slept. He admittedly slept with his friend wife. Who the fuck do that? Motherfucker, if that's the case, you got no right, and I mean absolutely no right to talk about Smoke God. You got no right to criticize JLM for anything he done. When Negro, you was sleeping for a long period of time with your friend, your best friend wife. Nigga, I would have slapped the fortune cookies out of your goddamn mouth for that. And this Negro has no legitimacy to talk about black women or black people. Go to the community that you want to be in. Divest. Please divest. That is some grimy ass, low level ass shit. You sleep with a woman that's fucking your friend? You thirsty ass Negro. That showed the thirst that you had. How the fuck you sleep with your friend wife? How the fuck you sleep with your friend wife? But you want to talk about black women being mad and angry? This shit is bullshit. Now I'm gonna open up the panel in a little bit. I just gotta get all this shit off my chest. These niggas sitting there trying to use empirical research to ascertain the emotional flaws of black women as it relates to them functioning in American society. I won't allow it. I will not allow any group of people that has no business worrying about the behavior of black women. What was their purpose of measuring the depression, anxiety, and quote unquote loneliness that's attributed to the fact of that type of mindset? But you didn't even talk about the influence of white supremacy that set the environment that black women felt that they have to be strong to overcompensate for the fact that the black man has been beaten down so much and basically experienced so much racism and so many things against his life that black women are put in a position where they have to feel like they have to be strong. But you didn't talk about that. But see, that's the lens that an Asian woman would not see because she does not understand, nor does she care to, and is apathetic towards the historical conditions of black people that led to that phenomenon of the strong black woman. But see, an Asian woman could never tell you that. You mean to tell me a woman that probably been living here, probably wasn't even born in this country? Or even if she was born in this country, her parents probably were not born in this country. So they're looking at things from number one, from their own cultural perspective, along with being trying to adapt and assimilate to American culture. Take it and in conjunction to that, taking on the lens of the image, the lens and the optics of black people from a cognitive standpoint in a Western society perspective and outlook. So, in our essence, these three Asian women look at black people from an Asian perspective with the addition of European mindset. And they synthesize their research with the lack of apathy and empathy, the lack of empathy, I'm sorry, or you are with the use of some level of cultural psycho appropriation for black people. In our essence, they don't really give a damn about what you think of yourself and how you view yourself and how black women are going through various trials and tribulations and psychosocial stresses that contributed to the independent mindset. They're looking at it totally from their own points of view, absent of how black women feel about black women. And to be honest, in addition to that, They only sampled like 220 to 250 people. So that wasn't even a large sample size. And then we don't even know from the people that they chose, we don't know if that was a random sample. We don't know if that was a double blind or a blind study. We don't even understand how they chose their participants and what were the conditions that they had to operate under. But you want to sit here and quote research, behavioral research, when you're not a behavioral scientist like myself. You see, I have heat for Negroes like 75% Negro. And illiterate, naive, dumbass black women that go on the panel allowing this shit with no pushback, making light of your own culture from an intellectual perspective, but when both of you are non-intellectuals. I have no idea, Oracle, if that's his thesis, but he used that research and wanted to quote how interesting it was that you are going to, and not the fact that, and I'm going to say this, let me push, get a little bit more objective. I'm going to say this. The problem is not that people outside of our culture can't produce research to effectively measure a black woman's behavior or any other groups of behavior, because people there is an existence of good research, valid research, reliable research on black people done by people outside of our culture. To be honest with you, most behavior research done by black people is actually created by white people. And that's a problem. And we have to understand that factor when we look at the outcomes, when we examine the outcomes of research. You cannot assume that all of those people are truly measuring and implementing research to give a genuine outcome. Because sometimes people just do research just to get paid. They create research and formulate research just to prove a point of things of their own opinions. That's actually unethical. But it happens all the time. It happens all the time. And again, as I've told the manosphere, the purpose of research is not to create an outcome that is deemed factual, meaning that it's a matter of fact and is not a matter of debate. The purpose of research is to measure characteristics, patterns, behaviors, and variables that contribute to the likelihood of a certain outcome or consequence. Therefore, it sheds light on the likelihood or the probability of something occurring or not occurring. It's supposed to be impervious to your opinion. It's supposed to be impervious to your biasness. But how the hell am I, as a black man, knowing the history of other people lying and using research and studies to misrepresent black people? Why would I not be critical of 3 Asian women that had a random idea? Oh, I'm going to measure the behavior of black women. Period. But see, this is the bullshit. This is the goofy ass bullshit that I'm talking about that happens in black YouTube. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say this. Binary curious, stick to educational research. Stay in your lane. Stick to what's in your, stick to the instructional, whatever you're doing. Stick to educational research. Stay in your field. Don't come dabbing in my shit, because you're gonna get exposed. What's up, Pillsbury? What's up, Pillsbury Doughboy? I sent the link out. Anybody wants the link? I think I sent it out. If anybody wants the link, you can get it and come up. I'm just sick of this, man. And just the goofiness, the fucking sophomore laughing like little fucking teenagers and shit. I'm sitting there like, really, this is where people sit here and listen to that bullshit. Like they don't even give other people a chance to laugh at their own jokes. They spend most of their time laughing at their own fucking jokes. And you got the audacity to criticize Smoke. If I was Smoke God, I'd be going in on binary weak ass. Relentless, Smoke, if you listen. You got people making light of the fact that you have a psychiatric condition that is triggered by the fact that you had a traumatic event that occurred. Post-traumatic stress disorder is an anxiety disorder. It's dealing with stress. What's up, Oracle?
Hey, my
Hey,
brother,
Oracle.
I'm so happy that you're pointing out these topics because I see that it's going around YouTube. It's like it's this wave of content creators that are actually going in on Black women. It's like just cancel culture, you know? And it's
Right?
sad. It's sad to see, as everybody's picking up on this topic as if it was something to do. They're actually trying to do everything they can to dismiss the Black woman from one spectrum to another. So these are people that are not even connected to one another that's doing this. That's the crazy part. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's like I'm like, why? What's the chances? The chances are very slim of you finding three Asian Americans finding a reason to think it's necessary to do research on Black women. What's the chance? So that to me lets me know he sought after this type of research. He only validates himself in the eyes of Asian people and what Asian people think. Even how Asian
Right.
people think about Black people. That's sick.
It is. He need help because it's like, why? Why this story? We're not bothering him. It's I'm talking in general. Like if you go to another race, the person that would date outside the Black race, go and be happy. You don't need to then go and be with that other race, produce children, create a whole family, and then turn right around and do this cancel culture of the race you're from. That doesn't do nothing but reflect how you feel. That's the only thing a person can get from that. Because it's like it really don't have a purpose, you know?
Right?
Because Black women are doing just fine in this country. We've been dealing with racism for a millennia, however long we've been here, and however long before that. We're resilient people, and we're just trying to make it like everybody else. So that's really no story. But why try and make it one? Because in any race, you're going to find something wrong with some persons in that race. So we're not isolated unto ourselves with issues. Every race have issues, is the point. And it's like, why do people feel the need to point out our flaws as if no other race had flaws? Every
Exactly.
race have flaws. Just because a person melanate does not, highlight the flaws that they have. But for some reason, people choose the melanating person to highlight their flaws. But white folks got flaws. There are white women that are getting divorced all the time. There are white women that are going through traumatic events all the time. There are white women that are catching cases all the time. You know, there are white men that's doing the same, all the way down to the darkest person. So just because you don't see it in the news doesn't mean that it don't exist.
Exactly.
You
What
may
about the
not
white women high level of infertility that's never talked
exactly,
about? They don't talk about that. Why do you think they have all those infertility clinics that pop up? That's not for other women. That's for white women.
exactly. We don't have no money, first of all. So if they're a multi-million-dollar company, where they getting that money from? You know, it sure ain't the black woman,
Right? They trying to put abortion clinics for black women.
right? They want to destroy ours while they go and make clinics to create them because their replacement rates are so low. They're in dire straits right now. You know,
Exactly.
we could actually, you know, think about we may be coming close to the end of our existence, but I'm sure my children will see the change, the switch, you know, from the
Yeah, but
majority.
but but, but white
Mhm.
people have had a negative birth rate for the last 30 years.
Yeah,
It's
that's
been
a
going
long
on way.
time.
That's been going on way longer. We just had a situation this decade, but that's
Hmm.
just a trend. But white people have been suffering a negative birth rate since the 80s.
Wow, that's a long time.
They've been
Real
they've
long
been
time.
suffering. See, they don't never put out their statistics, but they quick to put out the statistics that are negative towards black people. But they don't want to talk about the statistics of white people that's alarming. You know,
I
it's
think
a
it's
reason
mhm,
why um you know they have all those infertility clinics and all this medicine to
right.
help them have kids and all that stuff because they have a not only just in America but also in Europe. Europe has a struggling population growth also.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a report on that just in this semester. Just before we ended the semester, I seen a report about Europe. That was alarming, actually. You know, and I'm like, wow, that is not good. You're supposed to be able to replace yourself, and if you cannot do that by XYZ number of years, you know, you're going to be melanated
Extinct,
out to a degree where there's not going to be any such thing as white folks anymore.
right?
You know, so it's scary for them. I'm really scared for them for
That
that. Mhm.
that is their number one problem. And to be honest with you, if you look at the works of Dr. Chris Wilson, the heart of racism
Right.
is the fear of genetic annihilation because they understand that they have recessive traits.
Exactly.
Great.
And
What's up, Naturo?
you know, what do you do? Hello, how you doing?
What's up,
Hi, hi.
Nicole Mature?
Hello, hello. I hope y'all can hear me. Can you?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, thank you. Hi.
Yes.
Listen, and I'm not gonna stay up here long, brother. I usually stick to the comment section and
Cool.
chat. But I just want to say, man, when you something you said that was funny. You know, I never heard this joke before. When you said, well, you wasn't you were very serious when you said you're gonna slap the fortune cookies out of his mouth. That shit was, shit was hilarious, brother. I want to use that, man. I want to ask your permission. I can use that myself. Man. That
Oh,
was
go
hilarious.
ahead, brother. By any means.
Yeah, man. That had me cracking. I said, "Oh God, man." I didn't even respect that. I know you were serious. You know, you weren't trying to.
I'm very serious, man, but I didn't mean it. That's what I was saying. I don't even try to be funny, and people deem what I say funny. This Negro, if you watch his live stream, this Negro said joke after joke, and him and Stargate, the only one laughing at the jokes. Nobody giving laughing emojis in the chat at all. They spend half the time laughing at their own jokes. I'm like, really?
That's crazy.
Seriously though, they
Yeah,
spent half the time laughing at their own jokes,
yeah. That's people that have a boring life. Yeah,
right?
but
But
look,
but but I'm like this. But what do you think about this guy went out and searched for research of Asian people doing research on black people? What do you think about that?
well, I mean, I think that I think it's problematic. On one hand, I think that uh, Also, I think it works against his people, us as well. I think he would do well to spend his time researching our information in terms of what can move us forward. I don't know specifically what he would use that for and what that would prove in any argument. I mean, it would probably be it probably wouldn't make much sense, and that's just my guess. Not knowing
Right.
much about it.
I mean, my thing
Yeah,
is, you didn't even try to seek what black people. You basically just overlook research that's done by black people on black women, or even just black women. Period. You go out of your way to find 3 Asian women
right.
doing behavioral research on black women.
I'm imagining that was a needle in a haystack because there's plenty
Exactly.
of research on us, on all races,
Exactly.
actually. So why would you go all the way there? You know, because you were looking for something that was biased. You couldn't find it in regular mainstream research or scholarly research, because that's not scholarly research. You know, that's like a test run on research. If anything, 250 people. What are you going to get from 250 people as big as this country is?
He basically quoted research that only sampled 250 people, and using that as evidence of why black women have certain perspectives that are deemed as them being the strong black woman.
See, my problem would be what was their gauge? What were they gauging against? What were they calibrating against? You know, were they calibrating against Hispanics and whites? You know, you have to give me something to gauge your normalcy, and then whatever's outside of that, number or whatever. I don't know how the research look, but you have to give me something that gives you a extenuating number that goes over and above some normal range. You see?
Yeah.
So
See,
I don't know
but
if
my
you're
thing
looking
is
for
that
blind research or a double study, or I don't know.
that's what I was saying. I don't know if that was a ramble sample of people. I don't know if it was a stratified. I don't know if it was a double blind, a single blind. I don't know. I don't know what type of way the research was constructed, nor did he discuss that. But all he did was point out that, oh, they depressed, they anxious, and they lonely. And I hate, man. This is the most offensive shit. I hate when he tried to mock how black people speak, or he tried to mock how somebody black talk. He always uses a certain tone that I think is condescending, and it's race, and it's almost, I could see a white person doing that. This is something that's equal to what white people would do in mocking black people.
So he was cooning.
Yeah, he was definitely cooning. Yes, he was
That's
cooning.
the problem, because that actually crossed the line.
But he
You
does
used
this all the time.
research and you spilled it out on your page as fact. That's one. That fact that you spilled out, if it's in fact true, coupled with a mockery as opposed to giving us the way the research was done, with the research gauges or any of that, any analytical objective report for it. Instead of doing that, you're going to use the people research to mock their findings by belittling or subjugating black women. That's the problem, because all it would take is that person to find out that he used their material. Did he use his fair use rights when he did it? Did he state us anything saying that he's going to use these people material on his station? If he
No,
did it, then that's a problem. That's plagiarism. So unfortunately for him, he got himself into some issues if those people come back and do a copyright strike on that. And he better hope that they didn't have any group of people that was in there with them that are black. Because all it's going to take is one disgruntled person that research belongs to, that happens to be a black woman or a black man, it doesn't matter, just off the basis of what he did and how he mishandled their research. That is extremely disrespectful, for number one. And two, I don't even think it's legal. That form of plagiarism could be a crime because you're using their research, their actual, you better hope it's not a actual research article that's peer reviewed or a literary review, that's scholarly. Because if it is, and that institution finds out that's how you handled their material, they can sue his ass. They can come after him and sue his ass, and he would have a whole lot of legal problems with that, because that is actually that now that's the truest form of plagiarism. When you misuse somebody, that's like you, Dita Real, you write a book, and then somebody comes and quotes your book, your work, and then they do that kind of number. They couple your work with using your work as the guide or the stage piece, or the what they call prop, to uphold their idiotic behavior, related to a hate speech. That's plagiarism 101,
Right.
So
Right.
he got problems. He better hope them people don't ever find out, because all it was taking somebody to report that paper to the people that it belonged to, and they take a look at that video, that'll be a problem.
Well, I just think that the whole show he did today was silly as fuck. I think it made no sense. Um, that's a very sensitive topic in our community, and I think it's something that you should not be playing with when you're talking about black women. My thing is that the whole thing of black women saying, you know, I guess he used angry black woman and stuff like that. That shit was also partially contributed to by the media, who purpose who pre, who purpose who basically marketed that, who perpetuated that in our community, and in movies. It was perpetuated in movies,
Right?
music, because they wanted to see black women as being mad and angry. And as we know, most black women are not mad and angry. I mean, but when you
Right.
perpetuate that in media, you want to program people to think that's to be the case.
Yeah, but the unfortunate thing about it is we have women that are wives, doctors, lawyers, teachers, scholars, principals, truck drivers, entrepreneurs. I could go on and on. Scientists, nanoscientists, scientists that work on NASA, scientists that work on SpaceX, that helped launch the Mars mission. We have black women in all sectors of society and corporate, America, international affairs, politics, you name it. You can't find a place where a black woman is not excelling in something that's in the institutions of America. We are one thread in the fiber of what holds this country together, however small, because we're small in number. We get
Right.
degrees every day. They're turning them out, you know? I mean, you got so many unsung heroes that'll never get accolades because they focus on the very few that are, what I like to say, just simply misguided in so many ways behind social media influences. If you pay a chick enough and she doesn't have the damn thing, her family kicked her out because she got pregnant early or was, rebellious in a home or whatever, like any other teenager that would get kicked out. They got kids that get kicked out on a regular basis of all races. But she just happened to be black and make world star, you know. She's not the only one.
Right.
They make it like it's the only race that does this, and it's just simply not true. And a person that's educated would know, but it will be the mainstream that will buy that bullshit.
Man, I
Mhm.
see ratchet Asian people all the fucking time.
Thank
I
you. Mm-hmm.
I see them working in them little trashy, ragged ass stores that they have that people go and buy the fucking Matter of fact, the other day, man, I bought a some cookies, man, and them cookies was stale.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually for my asked for my money back because I'm like, that was like the second time I went to this little store and the
Mm-hmm.
fucking food stale, and they
Oh
just selling
wow.
it. Yeah, but this happens man. This happened multiple times where I went and bought something like a snack or something from an Asian store, and the
Mm-hmm.
shit was stale, and I had to ask for my money back or exchange for something else.
It's just sitting on the shelf so long. That's crazy.
Yeah, but
You
that
know.
happens a lot. What's up, Shakim?
Hey, Shakim.
Hey, what's up, Goddess Oracle? What's up, Godfather?
Hey.
What's up,
Hey,
man? I'm going in
hey,
on your boy, man. I know you did it earlier today. I had to cap it out for tonight.
my bad. Yeah, somebody had to finish the job and get rid of low main dick. So I wanted to also just add that low main dick likes to say that he's being bullied right now and being harassed right now.
What?
But yes, he
That's what
said
he
he's
No,
being
said?
I'm being harassed. He's harassing me. He's talking about black women. He came for my speech. I am the one that's being harassed. My sisters on this panel that are black are being harassed. And every other black woman in the United States and anywhere in the world are being harassed by binary.
absolutely,
How the fuck somebody?
absolutely.
How somebody harassing him? What is nothing is being nobody is he is not in here in direct contact with me. How are we harassing him? He just throwing out some bullshit.
Yes, and I'm like, you have made fun of Oracle's accent. You made fun of Dita Rail's accent. Um, they spent the whole hour making fun of how I talk. Oh, I don't give a fuck about that. But as soon as you make fun of something Asian related or anything like that, oh no, you guys need to stop. This is harassment. I'm a victim of Shakam Ra's harassment, and this is bullying. And I've contacted a lawyer and all of this other bullshit. But you started this, and the same thing with Dita Rail. He's the one that started talking about TS. We haven't heard shit about TS in 3 weeks. So
Exactly.
he did all of that trolling and using what the government, the powers that be, want to continue to push a narrative that Asians are experiencing these crimes. And so he played off the propaganda machine and tried to use that against you, and then tried to lie and say you committed Medicaid fraud and expose your lawyer's information. But none of that was harassment, right? None of
Right.
that was bullying. None of that was out of the way. But as soon as somebody talks about him, he wants to say he's being harassed and bullied. Make it make sense, people.
No, what I need to do is get together, make a class action lawsuit against binary, anybody that supports the bullshit narrative of black women that he went in on. That's what we need to do.
And then you got Stargate just aloof as just sitting there laughing and giggling over research that's stereotyping your behavior, and she's sitting there laughing like she don't even understand what the
Stargate,
fuck
you are
going.
not my sister. Because if you're going to laugh at somebody that makes fun of you in your face, just you, damn everybody else. He's making fun of you in your face and you find that funny. You need help. You need to reach out and get yourself some help because that is Coon 101. And white men don't even respect coons. White people know what that is. They know you're bootlicking. Why are you bootlicking? You two binary, you're black as anybody else. You're both are bootlickers. You're sitting up there. How you gonna get any respect from anybody if you're doing it? Because I'm gonna tell you what, if you get pulled over by the cops, they're gonna consider you a black man. They're not gonna think about your Asian persuasion or any of that. They're gonna look at you as a black American and they're gonna handle you accordingly. All you gonna need is that one wake up call for you to realize that.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
facts.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like it's just crazy to me how he is a self-proclaimed troll. How are you going to be a troll and be sensitive at the same damn time? Makes no sense to me.
No, you don't get to dish it out. Racism, racist remarks, racism, bigotry, and teasing, and all of that, and then holler whatever you're hollering about harassment. No, you're harassing us. You're harassing us every time you put our name in your mouth talking about black women. You're gonna go and use somebody's research to do it. You better not never let me find out who that paper's from, because I'm gonna turn you in.
Yes, and he has harassed Dita Rail like he was paid to fucking do
Exactly.
it. And we know that he's getting cash apps from Brother Dippin. We know
Right.
Brother Dippin if you're listening. And Unc must be logic. We know you're listening. We know that you're paying people to target Shakam Ra and Dita Rail and possibly Oracle. We know that they have been paid to Coon. And you're not even getting paid millions of dollars. You're sucking dick and you don't even have 1,000 subscribers. And on top of that, you built your channel off of what? Off harassing Dita Rail, off harassing me, off sucking TCTV's dick and using Poetic Flacco. And he wants to say that we're jealous of his success when he has 37,000 views after 3 months of trolling. And you're over there sucking Lennon's dick, and Lennon won't even give you a shout out. It makes no sense to me, but this is what happens when you spend your whole life confused about your sexuality and confused about your race.
Right?
Exactly.
He ain't confused about his race. He knows he's black. I don't care what lineage he come from, because I have lineage I come from that is not all the way black. So we know as people that have a lineage that have a mixed bloodline that we're still black. He's just wanting to use that because he wants to disassociate himself with being black. You're in denial of yourself. You are a black man, okay? And as a black man, if you're going to use another race, I would think that race would find it very offensive that this is the manner in which you're using your race card, you know? I don't
Right.
think the Asian community will appreciate it that you're using their race to try and get over on somebody or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Because that's all you're doing. Because every time you turn around, all I hear from people in the sector is that you're using the Asian community benefits to try and get over to get some of their benefits. That's their benefit.
Right.
That's not a black benefit. That is an Asian benefit. And you, sir, are black. You're a majority black. You're black. In Texas, it's a one drop rule. You don't even have to be that much black. You could be 1/5 black and you would still be considered black. You lucky you're not in the big T, because they sure would have a problem with letting you know that, sir. But I'm going to tell
Right.
you this. You are all the way black. It doesn't matter about your lineage, because when you pick a census or anytime you enroll, you are not picking Asian. You are picking black or African American. And when we look at you, we see a black person. We do not see a Asian person. Just because you have certain features doesn't mean anything. You still appear to the general public as a black man. There are plenty black people
Facts.
that have Asian type eyes, because we're the first people. That's what everybody that has their features got their features from us. So you
Facts.
subject to see a jet black woman that look white, Caucasian features. You haven't seen Naomi Campbell or what's the other one that's really really dark that looks white in the face? It's another star. What you know who I'm talking about? It's all these people in this world with different features. So don't give me that my eyes. You're mocking the Asian community when you do that. Talking about my eyes or my lineage and all that. That is an insult to the Asian community. Because if you was to say that about black, we would take offense to that. I have a black nose. I have black lips. You know how ridiculous that sounds?
Right, right. That's what he says, though. You say all kind of dumb shit like that for giggles. I mean, I'm just like, man, the dude content sucks. The shit is boring, and I'm like, dude, I never heard of a person constantly laughing at their own jokes out throughout the whole fucking video. Like nobody else laughing at your shit but you and Stargate.
Mhm.
And the Asian community don't even want his ass since you want to go so hard for him. You know, they wouldn't even acknowledge anything he say or do. And that's facts. But he wanna cape so hard for him, like he trying to get in the country club or something, doing anything to get into the country club.
Yeah, I've never seen somebody so thirsty in my life. Never. Like, nigga, you're 42 years old, nigga. You know what? I don't know who's more thirsty, him or Lennon. Like, they're so thirsty for YouTube subscribers and shit. I've never, ever in my life seen somebody do a giveaway for 200 subscribers. Like, nigga.
You silly.
Oh, not 200 subscribers, nigga. Oh, shit. I'm dead. I just deceased. But nigga. And then he did another giveaway at 500 subscribers. I'm like, nigga. Man, I could understand if you made it to 1,000, but 200 though, nigga, make it make sense.
Exactly. Exactly. You barely struggling. You struggling to get on top and you just saying all this shit, man. I'm like, dude. And then the thing about it, when I listened to you earlier today when you talked about like comparison time of viewership and so forth, I'm looking at this dude viewership. I'm like, dude, you barely got something that you don't even have stuff that cracked 300. Like you don't have anything except for one video with my name in it that he got over 1,000. I'm like, come on, man. Like really focus on your content, man.
Yes, I'm like, nigga,
Sorry
you
about that, guys. I had lost power for a second. I didn't have it plugged in, but yeah. So it's just really ridiculous, y'all.
I'm like, dude, you haven't even broke. Can you consistently get over 1K or five? And I'm like, dude, get over 5K at least 500.
he doesn't have anything over 1,200. Nothing. Even though you're sucking dick and you over there catering to the AFWs being a double agent, like Oracle always says, double agent, heed the warning. There are agents in the sector and they're getting paid to come after people. You think they didn't get a nice check for that Medicaid bullshit they did on Dita Rail? That was planned, that was orchestrated, and it was executed in that order. So if you're gonna do all of that, at least get to 2 or 3 or 4 or 5,000 views. I've seen D Rail hit 2,000 in what, a day? And you want to say you do the same numbers that I do, nigga? You're struggling, you're begging, you're sucking dick, and you're doing giveaways for 500 subscribers,
That's what
nigga.
I'm saying, dude, giving away what PS4s and shit. I'm like, really, it ain't that serious, man.
You can't pay for friends and loyalty, binary. If you don't have any talent, stop what you're doing and find something else that you're good at. Because going in on black women, you sure not going to grow your page now. Because now everybody's going to consider you a coon. That's just another way of saying we have a racist amongst us. You are a racist. You see,
Right?
you proved that to the 10th power by pulling up an article that we don't even know is credible to the research, because we have to have some understanding of the research itself to even give it credence. Unless that unless that remedy is in line or on that same research, we don't know if you're telling facts or not. You could be ad-libbing. We don't know. You could be misusing and mishandling the information that you receive. We don't know, because you didn't give everybody the entire research article or the report. You can't just slice and dice and pick out what you want out of a research. That's not how that's done. And it's really sad, because you're supposed to be collegiate.
Right, right. But I'm gonna say this, man. He all over the place with that shit. I don't know. He got just bullshit content is what it really boils down to, man. So and he go live, you know what I'm saying? And then my thing is he carefully going live at times where he know he don't really have competition. Like, I don't usually go live at night like this. This dude go live at like 11, 9, like I guess our time. Didn't he go live early in the morning and shit? But he never will go like live like prime time against other people. And even right now, I'm holding my own against his numbers. He doing a little better than me right now, but not greatly.
And nobody's pointing out that you're married to an Asian woman.
Exactly.
Not a
That's
black
what I'm
woman.
saying. When I saw the title, man, I almost lost. I'm like, are you serious? You gonna really talk about black women? You ain't, man. Fuck being married to one. Nigga, when the last time you ever talked to a black woman in that manner? Like, dude, you probably been fucking Asian women all your life, and that's it. Like, I really doubt that he dated
I'm
outside of
wondering
Asian
if he
women.
even have a black woman as a friend at college. I know Grand Canyon got black women. So you can't tell me you ain't involved in some type of way with a black woman, at least on campus. Are you even able to hold a relationship with people outside of YouTube? Dear Binary?
I
Man,
doubt it. And on top of that, you're in Arizona, and Arizona is mostly white
white.
and Hispanic and Asian. There's not a lot of black people in Arizona. So again, you're married to an Asian woman, but you want to come to the black sector, just like Albert Lanier wants to try to challenge me to a debate on Kemet and then back out at the last minute and say, "Oh, I'm not interested." You cannot debate me on my culture, on my race, on my legacy.
Right.
And that's what Binary gets away with. He wants to speak on black issues, but he's not in the black community and he's not married to a black woman. You cannot speak on a black woman when you're not even fucking one.
Exactly.
Start there.
Just
Thank
do
you.
the surface level shit before you try to get to the complexity of things.
Exactly. I like what Malcolm X said, and happy birthday to him on day before yesterday. He said it best. He said to the fact that we can't start integrating until we start taking care of our own. So before we able to start introducing all these different races, we need to start considering that thought process that we have to solve our issues. These are our issues. We don't go in white folks' neighborhoods and white folks' platforms and try and solve their issues for them. We don't do this to the Spanish community. I haven't even seen a Spanish video on YouTube since I started watching YouTube, and that's not done on purpose. It's just that I'm not in that sector. Nor have I ever seen an actual Spanish person come over here. They may have come over here, but I hadn't noticed. But what I'm trying to say is that when we start talking about our issues, like problems with the black relationship, problems with economics and things of this nature that are real deal stuff that we need to handle, I think we need to close the door, because there was not a black soul in sight when they wrote the Bill of Rights, when they wrote the Constitution. They were probably peeking through the window or serving. Yeah, we were serving tea and crumpets. So if everybody else gets that respect I demand that respect. And it's not being racist, it's being aware that I need to worry about me and my house first. I cannot allow other people just to come in with their different ideology because they're not going to get, because they came from a different perspective. They don't live in my skin. They don't know what it's like. They can read a book, they can talk to people, they can even do research. But is that going to give them the real effect of it? No.
Right.
You know? And it took me to get fat to even know what fat people go through. So now I have one other skill set that I have under my belt that I'm going to use to my advantage when I get back in shape. I can now say I actually know what it's like to be fat, and I can. It's just like an alcoholic or a person. I'll take you one better. A person that's hooked on heroin. Can nobody tell that person real good about heroin unless they're trained or experienced it themselves. This is why they have group therapy sessions, because they use one another to help each other. Who else is in that group? Nobody. Alcoholic is not in the heroin group, and the heroin is not in the alcoholic group. Why are we always the ones that have to roll over and just take the shit that other people dish out on us, then go back and turn on us, talk about us, belittle us, betray us, you know? Because that's all they do on YouTube. Dox us, betray us, put us in federal lawsuits, and dismiss us as if we were nothing, you know? And we've just been handled and tossed around because we're too there was one gentleman, I can't remember who it was real good, but it'll come to me, that said it best. We're too, I think it was the speakeasy. He said, we're too damn polite. We're too accommodating. He said it best. We are, and we do not want to disappoint. We don't, because it's in our nature to be good and be kind and be hospitable and be cordial to guests and people. It's in our nature just naturally. It's not something we have to work at doing. Now you may catch a few butt heads, but that's anybody, you know. But on the scale of 1 to 10, 8 out of 10 Black people that I've ever run into are generally kind people, you know. And with that, if that's the case, and that's just guessing, that's not a research, that's just my estimation of my experience, then we have a chance. But we have to give ourselves a chance by thinking about that chance and taking that chance while we can, because it's not going to get any better. Things are getting so bad to where it'll be before long some catastrophe again. You know, this thing could turn and mute or whatever. Then we really need to work out our situation then. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and that's what I was talking about earlier with Martin Luther King. I respect Martin Luther King because he did die for me, but I'm never gonna allow anybody to tell me not to defend myself ever. And my father didn't raise me like that, so that's also a problem in our community. Where okay, just like binary, he can talk all the shit he wants. He can troll. He can say people are doing fraud. He can do all of that. But if you go back at him, it's harassment. So they expect you to lay down and take it with Vaseline. They expect you to practice nonviolence. They want you to comply, wear your mask, and shut the fuck up. I'm not doing that. I'm from Detroit, but that's a part of the game. The game is to see how many people are going to comply, because I don't have to put you in chains to make you my slave. Guess what? Look up ID 2020. They don't have to do that. They don't have to. They don't have to. They don't have to come lock you up anymore. They don't have to lynch you. All they have to do is make you comply and to make you submissive, and that's the agenda. And he's pushing the agenda so hard over there. And so for anybody Black that's listening to this show, think twice before you go to that show. Just think twice. You have your own mind. You have your own intellect. You can make decisions for yourself, but just think twice before you go to somebody's channel that's pushing this propaganda of this anti-Asian hate crime. There's never been a bill to protect black people from hate crime, yet we got this passed in months. Make it make sense.
Yeah, that's a lot to think about and take in because we got passed over again. You know, I mean, we're getting just as much as anybody else whenever they give us, the government assistance for the pandemic. But it's not anything to show a real change in the criminal justice system that actually makes it even for all races. We're still at the bottom rung when it comes to fairness and equality. And that's all we're asking is just treat us like you would treat anybody else. You have your opinion. You have your opinion. I don't like everybody. I'm not asking to be liked, but I'm just asking to be respected. Respect me like you respect anybody else. And people have a big problem with that. And it's really harsh when we have our own doing it to us. And Binary is so in denial of his blackness to where he's probably convinced a whole host of people that he's not even black when he in fact is. And that's the sad part. People will coon so hard and go to and assimilate to that one part of themselves and ignore the other. And you should want to embrace all of what you are. I'm not saying delete any of it. I'm saying embrace everything. Why are you deleting your blackness, Binary?
Hmm. Yeah, but that's all it takes. That's all it takes is a laugh and a joke for you to delete your blackness because it's funny, right? It's funny. The first coons were comedians at clown shows. They made it funny to be a coon. Blackface was supposed to be funny. Wearing an afro was supposed to be funny. Having a big ass was supposed to be funny. So, like I said, just think twice before you go to that panel. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Just think twice about the agenda that
Yeah,
that
I
panel wants to
shrunk
push.
my attendance in panels now. I'm very particular now. I'm not interested. Me personally, just talking on me personally, like I know it's happening. I see it there, but I'm already known how things can get so out of hand and whack until you like, okay, this isn't even worth. This just a tube. I'm not trying to be involved like that. So yeah, so I'm hearing you, and I totally 100% agree with you. I'm very selective now, and now that I have my page up, I'm selective of who I'm going to allow on my page, and I'm probably going to make a lot of more enemies if they come to my station and try and come up, and they're not going to be able to come up because I already know the game, the bullshit. I've been around, I've seen them around, and it's nothing for me to see straight through the effery, if you like, and I just want to set a standard that I'm not having it. Certain people are just simply not going to be welcome because I'm weaning out the what I know is good and what I know is right and what I know is really trying from those that are just really trolling. So I agree with you, Shakira.
Yeah, Oracle. I'll be trying to find your page. You might have to change your name. Like not change
Oh
it, but
no, it's
just
not hard to find. Just put in the Oracle, but you have to just type in the word "the." Because a lot of people just use the word Oracle. You do it Oracle in capital letters and find the word "the," and It'll pop right up. Hmm. You could type my name with somebody that I already. I did a video with Kevin Samuels. So just type my name, the Oracle, and then type his name, and it should pop right up. Hmm. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I
but
was trying to
you're
find
very welcome. I think you have a wrench. I'm not sure, but if you don't have a wrench, I'll make sure to give you one. Yeah. So, but yeah, and if it wasn't for D letting us know what happened, I wouldn't even known that clown did that. I would not have had any idea. That's just how out of the loop I am. But I turn the leaders' pages, like your page, D page, TC's page, and try and catch up with what's the latest happenings. Because if I don't, I'm gonna be so far out of the loop. By the time I come back, I won't even know that something done went down. Because I'm so far removed. I'm in a whole nother sector of YouTube, and it's the trucking sector. So yeah, so I hear what you're saying, and I'm gonna definitely take to heart to be careful about where I go.
what sector are you? You said the cooking sector?
Yeah, I'll be in the cooking sector, the trucking sector, educational sectors, um, just like stuff like home interior design sectors. That's mostly my consumption.
Hmm.
You know, is way different from what I have on my show, but that's mostly what I be doing. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I got to check out your Kevin Samuels video because again, we have somebody pushing a narrative that black women are the problem,
Hmm.
but you can't just blame black women for everything. So that's what people. That's going to be the trend for the next year.
I see
Is
it.
is just blaming black women for everything. And
Hmm.
I'm not saying you don't need to hold black women accountable because you absolutely need to,
Right.
but you can't put the blame of the entire human race on the woman because it takes two.
It does.
So like, dude, you've been divorced twice. It's always somebody that has been divorced or married to an Asian woman or married to a white woman that always has something to say about black women.
Right.
It's never somebody that's in a
They
healthy
can't.
relationship.
Right. They can't go be happy. It's like if you married that woman for love, you should be in love and go be happy with that woman, build that home and make it with her. It's so much to do in life. And having a marriage is a blessing because you get to share your intimate moments with somebody. You're on a road trip and you see some beautiful blue jay or deer, or a mountain that's snow capped in the summer, depending on which side of the country you're driving on. You get to go take trips, you get to go to the Bahamas. You do anything with your spouse, and you could build a corporation, you could redo your home. It's so much that we can do and concentrate on, but we don't want to come together because we want to find fault or something wrong. We'd rather spin our wheels and have two divorces and sit up there and humdug and have this childish back and forth with strange women you don't even know because you're bitter about whatever happened in your marriage. That's ridiculous. That's a waste of life. I don't care how many millions that man have. He's wasting his life. And it's sad when he can actually be a clothing designer, develop a cologne, a real nice cologne or something. Go be creative. While it's destructive, you're sitting up here. You have these phone calls that are already pre-set up, so you pre-screened these people already, so they already know you. You could tell by how they interact at the first opening that they already know each other or had already had a talk. And then you go into this litany of their demographics, and then as soon as you hear something about their relationship status, you tear them apart. It's crazy. And if you can't get them there, you're gonna go to the next best thing. Is I'm almost certain she's overweight, So he picks a child size, a size 4 in a woman is like maybe a 10-year-old. So he picks like maybe a 10-year-old, the average 10-year-old, 12-year-old could fit a same size 4 as a adult size 4. So you're at Mickey Mouse land, um, having these women dressing these Mickey Mouse clothes as if she was in the fifth and sixth grade, you know. And Asian women are petite that way in some cases, not all the time, but every race of women have fat women, you know, that are married. He don't point out, how you can, change your lifestyle choices, eat better, incorporate more exercise. No, he does venom. Oh, well, you'll never get this and you'll never get that because you're too damn fat. Look at you. It's your black women this and your black women that. It's sickening sometimes when I listen to him. First, it was funny. Then I was like, you know how when you watch the movie Dream Girls, where the lead actor, Day whooped her butt with a belt? At first, it was kind of funny, like, oh, he really got out of belt and he whipped her, but he was whipping her hard toward the end of the whipping, and it wasn't funny anymore. It's like, okay, now he's beating her, and it's kind of like that watching him. He is that toxic. That man is, it's like watching Binary to the 10th power, only he does it like he's on steroids at Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, he's very toxic and he's not fit. It's always somebody that's not fit trying to tell people to exercise and get in the gym. Nigga, have you been in the gym?
I noticed that he is busting out them because it's too many inches. Isn't it supposed to be a quarter of an inch of the white off of a coat jacket? How many inches is it? Is it a quarter of an inch or half an inch? Okay, come tell me why the other day I watched him. I think he did on the 17th. I'm not sure. The entire the entire cuff was hanging out. The jacket was like quarter sleeve. I'm like, what the hell? Who does that? You're sitting somewhere, you're suit and tied up as if you were in a corporate meeting. You got your first button, you're sitting down. Like you're in a corporate meeting. It's almost like, honey, I'm going to work, and he has no job. That's how he comes across. Like he's pretending to be this executive person, but he has no executive job. The closest thing I could think of him being an executive is managing his money. My hope is he know how to do it, because it don't take long to go through $3 million in Manhattan. You're living that lifestyle that will run through that money in no time. That's like having only thousands of dollars instead of millions in Manhattan, right? So
he's a fucking bum. He just got his wages garnished for not paying his car note.
Are you serious?
Yes, you got to check out my video like maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
He got garnished, and they had to put out a warrant. They had to put out a warrant for his ass because they want to know his assets. They want to know what he made. He's been evicted at least 10 times.
Really?
Yes, you can look it up you can look it up on the look it up online. You can look up Atlanta, and you can look up whatever state he's from. I forgot the exact state, but if you look up the court records, you will see that he's been in court consistently because he has failed to pay rent on time, and his rent was only like $650. And I'm like, how you can't pay your rent and you're living with a woman, and neither one of y'all can come up with $600? Make sense, Kevin.
Was this during his marriages?
Both marriages. He's been evicted. He's been sued by credit card companies. He got arrested for trying to sell cocaine, and he was like 42 years old. Like, nigga, what are you doing?
Not Mr. High Value.
Yes, trying to sell cocaine and weed.
I gotta make me another video. I did not know that. I had no clue because I wasn't digging. I don't do all of that. So I'm definitely gonna check out your videos and catch up with him because I want to know how does this guy gets to get away with that. And I notice his background changes sometimes. So I'm thinking, okay, he's traveling, he's in a hotel. I know he just did the Tasha deal. So, I want to know, do he know Derek Jackson?
Mm.
Do you think that they know each other? Because how do you go to Atlanta? Talk to Tasha about absolutely nothing in the interview. You flew way out there and you're gonna be right there in Atlanta, right?
Hmm.
Right.
So do you think that he made a trip to Texas?
Of course, of
You're
course.
real close when you're coming down from Manhattan or New York or wherever you're staying right now. So if you're gonna go to Atlanta and Derek goes to Atlanta, Derek lives in here right here in I think it's if I'm not mistaken, he lives in Dallas. But if you catch him right, there's my personal opinion. I think Derek actually frequents Atlanta.
Right.
So if you're frequenting Atlanta and he's right there in Atlanta, there's a chance that they might know each other and hang out. I think they know each other. You know why I say that? I've listened to Derek for maybe 4 years straight. I had a single spell after the marriage, and I needed somebody. I'm like, dude, I ain't never been single before. I came straight out of my mama's house, well, my parents' house, and into his house. And we started out, that way. That didn't work out. Then I got married. And I'd been in a relationship. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so I stumbled on God was like real good to me because it wasn't hard to find. In 15, I found them. Derek Jackson. That man gave the best advice and it works. But when I heard Kevin just recently, they have similar talking points. And I'm like, wait a minute. For you to jump up and blow up as quick as you did in the exact same talking point, exact same subject matter is Derek Jackson. And then you went to Tasha, knowing that she could have roasted you. And I don't think she's all the way off the woods for that. I think they got a deal going because she didn't roast him. That was one of the first guests I ever seen that she never roast.
Right.
And so if you're not gonna roast this guy, y'all just hanging out. And if y'all just hanging out, and as freaky as Tasha is with her mouth, you could tell because of how she talked. I think those guys know each other. And I think that Derek and Kevin know each other well. I could just tell. I could tell. I can y'all tell too? I mean, am I just trying to hit it out the park here, or it's something up with them too? It really is. It's eerie. It's almost strange. It's like there is no way, unless he's studying this guy, but that's not the guy. The guy is Tommy.
Right.
So you're mocking Tommy. I don't know if you know Tommy. But then again, I have to ask myself, do he know Tommy? I think he do. Because guess where Tommy is? Atlanta.
Everybody's in Atlanta. Everybody, damn near.
Right?
Right.
So
So
if they're all in Atlanta, he's fronting like he's in Manhattan. I think he's in Atlanta, and he visited Texas. He don't live in that. He don't. So, okay, what was his last residence, Shakin Ra? The last one you noticed?
Well, I know he lives in Atlanta for sure.
Okay, all right. Because
But
he comes across, he will make you believe he lives in Manhattan when he does his walk arounds. You notice his walk arounds.
yep.
So
Hmm.
when he's walking around, he's flying to New York and Manhattan, right?
Right.
As opposed to he's only visiting, but he makes us think he lived there, but he's really actually in Atlanta.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
his flight was here. He flew to Texas. That's assumption and alleged. That's my opinion because I did a little investigation. So I have one clue that led me to believe there's a possibility that Kevin and Derek know each other well,
Yeah.
really, really well.
Yeah. The,
So,
the thing with him is, again, he asked a man how big his dick is. Like, bruh, come on
how
now.
long ago was that when he did that?
That may have been like within the last year.
Okay, so last year,
Yeah.
because Derek had an affair with the doctor. That same time frame, remember?
Hmm.
Derek had the affair with the doctor that lasted from, I think Tasha said somewhere in June. She got pregnant in November, had the abortion, and but they still stayed together.
Right.
And this is all in Texas.
Hmm.
And during that same time frame, Derek blew up. I mean, excuse me, Kevin blew up.
Hmm.
Wasn't
This
that the
time.
same time frame? He
Yep.
Yes.
started getting bigger. The only way you can grow like that is if you got connections.
Right.
So
But
you sitting up here, you getting a hookup. So what Tasha got to do with it? I understand that part.
right.
Right. Yeah. She's in a lawsuit with Cardi B right now, so she needs all the Patreon she can get.
Oh, she's trying to pay for legal fees.
Yeah. She
So
got
that's
her
why
hair.
the tickets were $15.
Yes.
Because
She
you
needs a
didn't
lot of
do
donations.
anything in the interview, but you charged $15. You hyped that shit up like it was gonna be a Mike Tyson Holyfield comeback, but ain't nothing happened.
No.
Can you imagine sitting on her platform and how she do them in their face? She don't have no holdback. Oh no, you to give me all your goods. She got folk admitting they are Morphidites in marriages, you
Right.
know, and she done went in on several people that I know. All they need to do is reach out and hand her a whole cease and desist, and she gonna have to shut the hell up. Nothing happens. But you get Kevin, the most scandalous of scandal. You a whole black woman, and you sold out all the sisters just to put him in a wine cellar and pour him up a glass of wine. I said,
Right.
oh no, I ain't buying that. I'm not buying that. I'm not. I'm not. I mean, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but something up with it no less than that situation. So I'm saying 75,000 a piece minimum.
Yeah, they both need the money. Like I said, he just got garnished not too long ago. So yeah,
Okay.
he has this image like, oh, I wear Prada, I wear Gucci, I wear
Right.
this, but you're not paying your bills, and your license is suspended, and you're not paying child support either. So where's the money going? Oh
It
yes,
is
the flights, the prostitutes, the
yeah,
pussy.
flying a
All of
million.
that adds up very quickly.
Right.
If you're going to go to Atlanta and pay for bussy and pay for drugs and everything else, it's going to add up quickly. So
Real quick.
Tasha K needs the Patreon because she's losing that lawsuit and she's getting real desperate. And she's adding YouTubers to it now. She's just really desperate over there.
Oh,
And on top of that, we all know how they met was through her husband because
right.
her husband was talking to Kevin Samuels on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So they met through him. That's how
Really
she got that interview.
Right?
interesting.
But that's the kind of research you like to look up.
Oh, wow.
Something that's disparaging to black people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then get them on the phone and berate them. Because I'm like, why are you berating and badgering this woman? You could just say what you need to say. It's okay. You're a few, I don't mind. You tell me I'm a few pounds up, but I'm not going to take that no kind of way because I could tell me that. I know me. An average black woman knows when she's single and when she's overweight. You don't
Right?
really have to have a bullhorn for that. But it's the manner in which he does. He has like this vicious attitude about it. But check this out. I was roasting him, and I noticed that when I did it, the one that I picked, he had his old fashioned briefcase like from the 80s. You know them old box briefcases that you have to do it looked just like one that you have to do the little the spin the lock the spinny. You know how you spin it and you match the
Right?
numbers or whatever the combination is. And he had his microphone sitting on it. I'm like, what in the hell? Where's his desk? And where is he at? And
Right.
all you can see through the windows was buildings. I said, okay, that's either Atlanta or Manhattan. He's in some hotel room. So now it's starting to all make sense. And he's very fidgety, like frustrated, you know. So something's up. Something is definitely up with him. Yeah. So these guys. So so uh, I'll go out on the limb and ask this question: do you think that there is a supremacist? I'm not gonna call no race. Do you think that there is a supremacist group that are supporting these guys to some degree to pick up this narrative on YouTube and other platforms wherever they're doing it, Facebook, Instagram, or wherever they go?
Absolutely. I think that there's a huge agenda happening right now. Probably the biggest attack on humanity that has ever happened is happening right now. And the art of war tells you that, you never let your enemy know that they're under attack. You never tell them that. And you always, infiltrate. And so what better way to cause division in the black community than to put Kevin Samuels at the forefront of black YouTube? I mean, how many arguments have we had about what black women should be doing, what black men need to be doing, child support? You don't get flagged for that on YouTube. But if you
Right.
talk
It's
about
like they
if you talk
support
about
it.
something else, if you want to talk about what's really going on, you will be censored immediately. So I
Right?
definitely would agree with you and say that just like Kamala Harris. I mean, she's definitely somebody I would characterize as somebody that's there for a certain purpose. Michelle Obama is there for a certain purpose. All of these people, anybody that's at the forefront of the dominant media, you notice they come out of nowhere. One day they're a regular person, then the next day they have 500,000 subscribers.
Exactly. That part. That's what happened to Kevin. And I
Well,
think that
yeah.
Binary is trying to follow that recipe, in my personal opinion. I believe that Binary is trying to figure out how to do that. Because you know he came on your page D with the eye horse on your station.
Right.
So he's letting us know he's trying to get in. He's not in because they're not that stupid. That's first of all. But he's pandering to it because he wants in. And I'm thinking he's gonna try and use his doctorate degree to get in. And he gets that doctorate degree, then he might get in. But
Yeah, I
but,
feel you. We
but
want
that's just the boule though. I mean, do
right.
the boule still have any power? I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so. I would just say a PhD doesn't really have any value for money purposes, but for other purposes like the boule, of course. Especially in what the field that he's in is special education. The whole point of special education is to, you know, first of all, everybody needs to pull their children out of the public school system, period. But if you have a child with special needs, that's lucrative, and there's there's so many levels to that field, and the people that make the policies, the people that make the decisions are the people that have the doctorate degrees. Those are the people that tell you, your child needs to be on this medication or that medication or whatever. So
Right?
yeah, it's definitely gonna get him, where he's trying to go as far as that. But again, we're talking about somebody that's a lifetime student
Yeah.
and somebody that attacked Dita Rail, who had a master's degree at 25 years old. You know what I mean? So
Right.
he doesn't have any respect for the people that are actually in the community, the people that are actually doing the work, the real work for the good of our society. Like, what is he going to do with that PhD? Well, what can you do with a PhD besides write a bunch of papers?
That's it.
Right.
It's just research from there. Research, and you might get lucky and get to tweak a
That's it.
concept and maybe invent something. Get lucky enough to get the ingredients to uh, add value to some technology or some stuff like that. But not you really can't use a PhD outside of teaching. I mean,
Right. And he's
it
still
doesn't do
teaching.
anything.
He's
Hmm.
still teaching their curriculum. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He's not coming up with anything innovative for Asian children or Black children. So again, it's like all of these people, the people that have the most to say, are part of the agenda. So that's why I said that show is about an agenda. And I heard Stargate is leaving. So
Hmm.
what the fuck are you gonna do when Stargate is up?
Oh,
How are you gonna
good.
run a show without
I
your
don't think she's
star
going
player?
nowhere. I think it's
Well, she
all the
did
stuff.
say.
She's just laughing at everything.
Well, she said she started her own show. So I don't know. Maybe she's not. But if she leaves his show, that's gonna be it, and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it if
Then
she
he'll be
leaves that.
back over to Smoke Dog allegedly and try and recruit again.
Right? Because creepy people, I'm not even gonna say that, but she got her diabetes test results back, and she has been in a state of shock, anaphylactic shock, ever since she got her diabetes type 2 test results back. So she has not been on any panels, and
Okay.
so he has nobody else. He's like a parasite. He has nobody else to feed off of at this point, uh,
Hmm.
for his show. He can't. Once Stargate is gone, what are you going to do with identity theft, identity withheld?
Right.
You can't do nothing with him. You can't. And so that's what he's really worried about. And that's why, like, him and Stargate sit there and laugh for so long, because it's like Stargate is what's giving his show the viewing power that it has.
Hmm.
Right.
Just her name, not even the topic or the substance of the show, but just the fact, oh, I want to hear what Stargate has to say. Like, that's it. And so
It's weird though because I thought it was into anime.
I think he is. But the thing about it is, like, okay, there is a huge sector for anime, but you have to be talented though. You still can't just okay. I watch Attack of the Titans. I got like 58 views on that video on my
Right.
first one, which is not bad. But
Right.
people want to see creativity. They want to see like they really want a lot. And you got to understand, he's 42 years old,
Right.
so he does not appeal to the young anime audience. The gamers that he wants to appeal to, he doesn't appeal to them either.
Mm.
So it's like he can't really get in that sector
It's like a
because,
misfit. Okay.
yeah, definitely a misfit. Definitely somebody that's just like completely like unrelatable. So
Mm.
when you have that going on, and then you have somebody that's confused about their race, I mean, you're never going to fit in anywhere you go because you have identity issues. You have
Right.
psychological issues within yourself, and you're a troll because that's the only way that you can make yourself feel good at night is to go around and troll. But then when somebody claps back, you're the victim and you're being harassed and you're being bullied.
Right.
Right.
And it's
So
gonna translate into his other relationship, his interactions. I should say, I ain't gonna say relationships. It's gonna translate on the basis of that's not sustainable. You have to be confident in your skin. If you're having an identity crisis, which in my personal opinion may be the case, and that's just my personal opinion, allegedly, then you have to fix that first before you can even interact with people on a proper level, on any type of level. Because people that actually agree with you are going to have a problem with you. It's not going to just be a defensive mechanism, just make everybody a damn enemy. And, and that's how he gets along because he's cool with that. Because it trips me out to have heard a grown man of his age and his caliber in education to actually be proud of being a troll. You're proud to be a nuisance. So you would accept the negativity because you know that if you were just your regular self, which you don't know who that is, or will accept who that is, that doesn't work out for you because people could see straight through you. You're kind of like a. It almost comes across as if I don't want to call it out like a diagnosis because I'm not trying to diagnose. I'm just making an analysis from just interacting with the dude. I would dare say Asperger's disease of some type.
No, 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 no. We can't do that. We can't do that. we,
Allegedly.
we gotta. We're not gonna do those. Any reference to any DSM disorder or anything like that, we cannot
Mhm.
talk about it.
Okay.
We have to. We're gonna.
We'll scratch that because
Yes.
I don't know anything about it. So I'm just, just trying to understand my interactions with him, So, and I respect whatever the situation is too, So if the situation is whatever it is, which I doubt it, you know, but I think that therapy couldn't hurt, you know, or seeking help couldn't hurt
Well,
because
see, but
it's
you got to
worse.
grow up with the fact that you're one body trying to navigate the fact that you are a part of two communities,
Mm-hmm.
in which one community is deemed in a certain level by almost every community, and you've grown up with the fact that you physically look like the very community that a lot of other communities don't like.
Right.
So you trying to see how I can be between both, but that's almost impossible
Mm-hmm.
because you're gonna physically look like you're gonna physically look like one of like particularly one community. You're gonna have more characteristics that
Mm-hmm.
people are gonna associate you with. So when they see you, they're gonna see you as that community, not being of two communities,
Exactly.
and that's a problem for a lot of you know people of that ilk.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's unfortunate because I think it's just um, the rejection. It's the rejection for me, and so that's why I would say the need to reach out for help would be uh, uh, a start to getting uh, to a place where you're comfortable with being all of what you are.
Right.
You know, the entirety of yourself, because the people are starting to notice, and that's the problem. You know, it's when people start to notice these things and pulling away the, layers of controversy and trying to create content and being an actor, and you get to the core of actually dealing one on one with the person, which I have, interacting with this person. I noticed that the pulling away of oneself, it's heartbreaking to see because of course you're gonna windmill because you're showing signs of not being, understanding of how to deal with all of yourself, in my personal opinion. That's the way it comes across. It's just the way you present
Right.
yourself,
It's a
and
Right.
defense
you're in
mechanism.
denial of yourself.
It's a
Hmm.
defense mechanism. When we talk
Hmm.
about defense mechanisms in psychology, one of the ways that you can deal with the fact that you do have those issues is to basically attack other people
Hmm.
and troll other people and harass other people. And that's why I said I've never seen somebody that is so sensitive,
Hmm.
but at the same time so problematic. Because usually, if you're sensitive, then you're very careful about what you say and you're very careful about how you say it. And like I said, I mean, he has my phone number,
Right.
he has my email, he has my direct contact.
Okay.
You did not have to insinuate that I have booty pics on my phone or whatever the situation is. But
Right.
again, I'm not bothered by that because I'm very, very, very comfortable with who I am. So if I had that in my phone, if you exposed it, it wouldn't bother me. So everything that you're trying to do,
Hmm.
it's only because you're using a defense mechanism, which is, what we also call displacement,
Right. It's this
where you
placement.
displace your issues and your impulses on somebody else. And also, like when we talk about um regression, like
Mhm.
how you move back in time when you're faced with stress, and that's what he does on his show when he's sitting there laughing with Stargate. When he's sitting there laughing with Stargate, it's like two kid, like it reminds me
Two
of my
kids.
my nephew and
Mhm.
my niece, like just sitting there on the playground or watching TV, and they just having the time of their lives. So that's what we call regression, like where people suck their thumbs
Okay.
as
Mhm.
adults,
Mhm.
and do stuff like that, or when they accidentally have where you wet the bed as an adult and stuff
Mm.
like that. That's because
Mhm.
you have regression, and like yeah, that's like that's what a lot of us do. A lot of our issues as men or even women, it's all going back to your childhood. I'm sure something happened in his childhood that made him feel like he wasn't, accepted,
Mhm.
or he couldn't really fully understand what it was to be black and Asian in his childhood.
Mhm.
And that's why I always tell people, like, you're 42 years old. I have no problem with anybody having issues, but it's like you've had so much time
Right.
to fix that and to deal with that, and you and you would rather play video games. Again, going back to childhood, what do
Mhm.
people do during childhood when they want to escape reality? They play video games.
Right. And go
Rev
to an
G with the
alter
Legos,
existence.
Legos and coloring.
Mhm.
Not.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what
Ah,
all the
I
what
forgot about the
reality
Lego.
is.
I forgot
Mhm.
about the Legos. I really did.
Yeah, Legos and coloring books.
Oh my goodness. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. It's so sickening. But again, speaking of Rev G, again, the main person that started this, you started doing videos about me. That's what's so crazy. You started this and then you want to play victim after I report that ass for allegedly violating your students. So
Oh wow.
if you can and if you cannot handle the smoke, don't dish it out because the AFWs love to dish it out, but they can't take it. When you start calling their job, when you start reporting them to their board of behavioral sciences, when you start filing lawsuits on them, when you start sending off copyright strikes, they cannot handle it.
Mm.
When you harass them or bully them back, they can't handle it. They can't handle it. But guess what? They'll sit up there and put your videos and emails and make fun of your medical conditions and do all of that. But as soon as you clap back, they want to run to the police and call the FBI. I cannot tell you how many times this lady has called the FBI. If I had $1 for every time Andrea Stewart has called the FBI,
Mm.
I will be able to pay my rent.
Right?
So that's what they do.
It's
They love to
crazy.
play. They love to play victim so much over there. And Andrea Stewart uses her psychological training to manipulate these people and
Mm.
to make them do these things. And so that's why Rev G is not doing the debate with anti-Afro because she used her psychological training on him and convinced him, oh no, you don't need to associate with D Darrell because you have an active investigation against Shot Kim, and you don't want to be seen on those panels, and those panels are unsafe, and all of this psychological, all of these euphemisms, all of this double language.
Mm.
Anybody can have their mind manipulated by a psychologist. Anybody, especially somebody especially somebody like Rev G who's 50 years old playing with fucking coloring books.
That shit funny, man. This ain't talking about I'm gonna color, man. I'm gonna reduce stress and I'm like, man, look, I understand that is therapeutic means for doing things like that. But dude, you like 50 years old talking about you got you got Barbie doll, little baby dolls you playing with and shit and little toys and shit. Like that shit has some underlining themes that, you know, God knows what they really mean for you to be, resulting in that type of behavior to deal with stress in that way. There's countless ways of dealing with issues that you don't have to resort to that. But you tend to be very proud of the fact that you have Legos that you like to play with, and I can't wait till my new batch of Legos come in, man. Like a little kid can't, waiting on their toys and shit. That's funny. I'm like, wow. Rev G has a lot of issues, man. A lot of issues.
Bruh.
Yeah, YouTube is a place, I tell you the truth. I never would have known these type of people ever existed, but it has helped me,
Right.
in what I'm trying to do. I have been able to accomplish some things through it all,
Right.
and if it wasn't for this gumbo mix of folks, so to speak, I doubt if I would have excelled as heavy as I did. I was on my game, you know, and still is, but um, it's disheartening because it's like, you know, I'm being created in a uh, how can I put this? I'm like a happy pit bull, not a vicious pit bull, but a happy pit bull that's in this gate, and all I have to do is get a little bit more training, and I get to be free. You know how when you have the dog track and you got the bunny, they see the bunny and they shoot the gun and the bunny goes off and they let the gate open.
Right.
It's
Right.
like I'm the greyhound behind the gate. I can smell the blood. Just
Right.
let me. But you
Right.
can't go nowhere because you got to complete your mission. Dang it. But I tell you the truth, because I've been exposed to so many different ranges of certain situations I can't speak on right now. I may write a book later. It will highlight some certain things, but it won't be in direction. I make sure of that. But anyway, um, I've been exposed to any. I will say this: anybody that's listening and you're interested in a mental health field, uh, I would strongly suggest that when you go in the mental health field, if you want to get a range of situations going, uh, YouTube may be an idea you want to consider. Just maybe.
Hmm.
And when you're interacting with different personalities and peoples and mindsets and things of that nature, it really does uh, give you a hope, hope in humanity. Because I find more good than bad. You know, we got like a couple of apples ain't right, but the majority of the bunch is a great set of people. But with that, you have to just be mindful and careful of how you interact because you can get caught up. You really can. You can get caught up, but you have to keep yourself on your square. That's your
You
charge.
know
Don't
what?
get defocused.
Oracle, I'm gonna write a book on Lynn and Honor. I'm gonna tell you why.
Are you okay?
Because I've never seen this. I like in my life, I don't see women that expect a man in his 40s with 5 kids to be comfortable begging.
Exactly.
Never in my life.
Exactly.
From that generation
I
of men.
couldn't do it. Me personally, in my own life, I cannot be with a man that does that.
And
Beg.
you got other women making excuses for him, which I ain't never seen black women like do that at all.
No, I couldn't. I wasn't raised that way. Mm-mm.
I don't even have the I have too much pride, okay? So if I ever fall on hard times again, the last thing I'm going to do is start a GoFundMe. The last thing I'm going to do is do a video showing my house in deplorable condition. The last thing I'm going to do is um get on the internet and cry. Like I've never cried on camera. I've seen my dad cry one time his whole life, and that's when his dad died. That's the only time I've seen my dad cry. So when you study men, it's very interesting, and because there's so many layers to it, especially when we talk about a man that is older, right? Not to say that being older is a bad thing. I'm just saying he's older. He's from a different generation than me. So
Mm-hmm.
those type of men very rarely show any
So,
emotion whatsoever, but he's very comfortable crying on camera. So Lynn and Honor, I could write a book about the psychology of like just how he's done all of these videos on Umar Johnson as a defense mechanism to distract himself from his own feelings about himself. And that's why it's become profitable for him because it's become a job. Anytime that you create a job without actually having a skill, that takes extreme amounts of psychological work. So as an example, the book could be 300 pages. I mean, just the conversations I've had with the women about him and how they defend him and make up so many excuses and try to say, well, at least he's going back to
empty
school.
excuses,
The excuses are
unwarranted.
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. I just wanted to just add that in, man. It's just pitiful the excuses that Stargate would make for Lenny.
Yes. And the thing about it is
Right.
they have made him a god. And I said this from day one. I said they have made Lennon their God. Because just like if you go to church and you say anything bad about Jesus, your ass got to go. If you say something in the Bible is wrong, you got to go. So I know when somebody has become an idol, because it's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. Even if you're a parent, there's nothing wrong with giving somebody constructive criticism as a parent. You should welcome that, because my parents would never put me on the internet and tell me to thank strangers for donations. And thank
At 12 o'clock at night.
okay, and thank
That is
strangers for paying
so
their rent.
dangerous to put your child on internet on the basis of you don't know who's watching, and if people around you in your neighborhood see that, uh, see your baby and see you on the tube doing something like that, then it's just risky. You've heightened your risk factor. Why do that? That's dangerous and reckless. That's just the minimum. So yeah, we need to really be careful. I don't condone putting any of your family members on the tube. I would never do that. Hell, most of my family members don't even know I have a YouTube station. This is for my private use. So I don't even share the fact that I even have a YouTube station with my family, you know, because I don't want them to be a part of the craziness of how insane situations can get out of hand and be, you know, and it's just I just don't condone. Now if people are in a certain sector and they're sharing their life and their family, that's their risk. I still think it's a risk. But if you know that you're putting yourself in harm's way on purpose, if you're gonna be that YouTuber, I would strongly suggest don't talk about your kids, your wife, your husband, your friends, your associates, your family, your work, your school, your leisure life, your anything. You know, stay in obscurity because it's a shield for everything that you are going through in your real life, because you have to make that distinction if you're going to be a YouTuber that's into controversy. So if you're going to be in controversy and you got kids, I couldn't do that. That's something I would never consider. So I mean.
Right, right. Well, guys, I'm at the 2 hour 32 minute mark. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up for the night. I gotta get up early in the weekend tomorrow. I'll be going live twice tomorrow.
Oh,
So I'm at,
cool. Okay.
oh yeah, I'm gonna be going live I'm going live in the morning, and then I'm gonna go live in late evening on doing some content. I'm gonna have a busy day of content tomorrow. That's a definite.
Oh,
So
good.
so any last words from anybody?
Yeah, thank you, D. Darrell, for having me up. Shaka Ra, I'm definitely going in your archives to check out the Kevin Sims. I'm still working on his story. I want to find out if Derek and Kevin know each other. Thank you. Peace and blessings, my brothers.
All right, peace.
Yeah, peace and blessings, Dita Rail. We looking forward to the content.
All right, Shakamra, peace. All right, guys. I'm getting out of here, guys. I made my point for the night. Listen, I'm a protector of black women at all costs and so forth. I just can't have a situation where people are demonizing our women. You want to be a part of our community when you think it's uh you know when you think it's basically appropriate or beneficial for you. But for black people, we deal with being blackness every day. We don't decide when we want to be black or when we want to be Asian or we want to be something else. We deal with the privilege of being black daily, good or bad. So with that being said, guys, peace. Y'all have a good night. Talk to you all later.